Hello, horror fans. I don't have to remind you that a new Scream movie arrives this weekend.
Scream.
Yep, Scream 7 hits theaters this Friday, giving fans another round of movie trivia, genre deconstruction, and of course, more of that classic Ghostface phone call stabby stab routine we've all come to expect. It's honestly kind of impressive that the series has made it to part 7, especially considering that the first Scream movie essentially existed to kill the slasher genre. You remember that, right? Okay, maybe kill the genre isn't totally accurate, but it definitely aimed to take slashers down a peg or two. By the mid-90s, the slasher genre had run its course. The 80s had been dominated by mass killers and creative kills, but by the 90s, Freddy had become more cartoon than nightmare, Jason's taking of Manhattan left audiences underwhelmed, and Halloween 6 was... well, it did have a young Paul Rudd in it. The point is, the slasher craze had cooled, the formulas were obvious, the scares felt familiar, even dedicated fans were starting to drift away. The genre wasn't dead, but it was on life support. Then in 1996, along came Scream.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
What did you say?
Directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson, the film wasn't just another mass killer story, it was a slasher that knew it was a slasher. Characters openly discussed the quote-unquote rules. They called out cliches, they analyzed horror movies while living inside one. It didn't just participate in the genre, it dissected it.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back!
It's hard not to see Scream as something close to a eulogy, a film that pointed out all the tropes that should make slashers silly and put them front and center. So when it became a massive hit, you might assume audiences would finally be done with slashers. Only that's not what happened. You remember the opening scene in Friday the 13th Part 6, when Tommy Jarvis goes to Jason's grave to cremate what's left of his corpse, but instead he accidentally revives him? Yeah, that's basically Scream. Because instead of killing the genre, Scream resurrected it. Its success didn't just launch its own franchise, it sparked a wave of glossy, self-aware teen horror in the late 90s and early 2000s. Movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, Valentine were made in the wake of Scream. And even older franchises felt the ripple effects. We got another Halloween movie that happened to bring back Laurie Strode. Bride of Chucky leaned heavily into self-aware dark comedy. Jason X had a few scenes of meta humor, and after years of development teases, we eventually got Freddy vs. Jason. And here's the irony. Scream may have made a joke out of slasher tropes, but in doing so, it made those tropes charming. By naming the rules, it didn't destroy them, it canonized them. Audiences weren't embarrassed by cliches anymore. They enjoyed spotting them, they felt like they were in on the joke. The formula didn't disappear, but rather it became part of the fun.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
And nearly 30 years later, the influence is still there. Meta-storytelling didn't begin with Scream, but it undeniably helped push it to the mainstream. Horror became more self-aware. Viewers became more media literate, and filmmakers leaned into that awareness instead of pretending it didn't exist. Even today, we still have slashers and other horror movies that play things completely straight, where everyone knows the rules, and when filmmakers do subvert those said rules, we notice. Because Scream taught many people how to look for them. Not bad for a movie that was, in many ways, positioned as a death note for a fading trend.
No, it's just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
And even if this new entry somehow does follow through on its promise to be the last Scream movie, yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. It's hard to imagine a world where the impact of that 1996 film doesn't continue to linger in horror for generations to come. Because sometimes, the movie that tries to bury a genre ends up giving it new life. Thank you for watching, everyone. Be sure to like this video and leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of Scream 7. And also be sure to subscribe to this channel for more horror-related content from Cascadia Dread. We'll see you next time.